Hi everyone, it's Adrian Leah. I am in the basement for now. My godmother will be having guests over on Saturday, so I'm going to go back upstairs for a little bit. But I figured I would show a couple of things in this video. It is my birthday as of right now when I'm filming it, so it was relaxing. I feel like this is more vacation time for me. I was surprised because I was just getting ready. I wasn't planning to do much today. When I was getting ready to go, I was thinking maybe I would knit at uh, at a park that's near me, and then I would take it from there. Today is also a day where the yarn store is open later than usual because the last hour is when a group of people come in with their projects, and there's a large table in the yarn store, and we just do our projects there. So I did do that today, but when I was going downstairs, I heard my godmother come in, and she had a cake for me and I wasn't expecting it, and she got food for us, and so I stayed around for a while, and then I just went to the yarn store after that. But uh I was happy that she remembered I wasn't expecting anything. Um, I wouldn't have minded, but that was really nice. I might show the cake when I do my video logs. I like to do the video logs. I think it gets the stuff off of my phone instead of me just like keeping everything on my phone. And it might not be super eventful, but I just think that there are certain things that happen that I just post out of my enjoyment, and hopefully others that like to watch it too. I did get just a little bit of yarn because um, she did give me some money. I didn't spend all of it, but I did get yarn from Ukraine. I'm not sure when that'll arrive. I feel like I won't have a problem with that package because all of my packages, except for one that have come from Ukraine, have arrived, and I didn't have to sign for it. It arrived without a problem. My USSR electric spinning wheel has, I wouldn't say it's like been getting me into some mischief, but I heard it was detained, so I don't know what to do with that information, but I I suppose I might be getting it towards the end of the year. Don't know what's happening with it now. And then they made an updated thing with something about international transit. So whenever that happens, I am not too worried about it. I do have my wooden spinning wheel, and it reminds me of the thing that I got, or the yarn that I got today. And then I wanted to show something else that I got with the Ukrainian yarn. So I'll show it after this. Of course I got more blue yarn, and I knit with other colors too, and you'll see that, and I have shown other colors. But this reminds me of my spinning wheel because my spinning wheel is from New Zealand. This one is Performa Series Kiwi, fingering weight. It's 40 grams. Machine washable brush tail possum blends. This was in the 40% off section. I get a lot of sale yarn, and I think it's nice because I get to use some yarn brands that I might not buy at the full price. I'm sure they're worth it at the full price. I just see what the deals are, and I'm thinking I might do another garment since it was 40% off and this is 40 grams. I would probably get an extra ball of these for to compensate for some of the loss of that. Or 40 grams, 135 yards. It's a good amount. I feel like I can make another crop sweater because I'll talk about it in a couple minutes, but I really love the way that the cotton crop sweater that I knit up turned out. It's super comfortable. This has 40% fine New Zealand merino, 30% brush-tailed possum, 30% organic cotton, machine wash gentle, iron cool, dry flat. So it has another symbol there, but I'm super happy with this. I was really interested in trying possum yarn. I've heard about it before, but I don't really see it in stores. And of course, me looking at the animal totem or more of like the metaphysical type of meaning towards it. So, resilience, surrender, harmony with nature. Journey of self-discovery and transformation. And it is known as the trickster too. So that does seem like it's on like it's right that it feels like it has a place in my life because of the trickster energy. I don't think I get into too much mischief. Um, and I guess the mischief isn't intended to harm anybody. Um, if that in a I feel like it would actually be more geared towards making light of dark times, and I think that that is a great lesson to have. And so I feel like I will definitely love knitting on this. I love the way that the cotton garment turned out. Um, I'm gonna jump from different things, but I have technically two finished objects, but I said I would talk about something else that I got with the Ukrainian yarn. So with the Ukrainian yarn, I saw it. It was at a really inexpensive price because it was about 200 grams for like $8, around that, $7, $8 between those numbers. And I was thinking I could incorporate it into projects with using other yarn, but since it's at such an expensive price, I would like to see it in its glory and see the potential of what it is as a garment on its own with just those yarns. So I did get a main color and a contrast color and enough to make a garment out of it. I think it's to my benefit too because I was looking at the different patterns for one of the Ukrainian knitwear designers that I'm going to start a project on using yarn that I got for my birthday a little early on. And I looked at the different variables, the weight of the yarn that was used, the needle size, the type of gauge that you're getting, how much of it I need. A lot of the garments use lighter weight yarn, so that is good for the yarn that I just ordered because it is one that I could use for those projects because I did have others in mind, but I didn't get I didn't purchase those patterns yet because I don't have that yarn that I'm looking to use for that. And it would be a little bit of a stretch to use the yarn that I already purchased on those specific projects. So with the yarn, I got a recipe because the recipe is, it was a little donation to the parents of the Etsy seller. And so let me just see. The Etsy seller is Delessa Traders, Duxlesa Traders, Traders. And part of, well, no, that purchase goes to getting food for her parents. So I chose the Ukrainian style cabbage rolls, holubtsi, and this was already on the page, and the next page has the actual recipe. So I can read it, and I was interested in this because I like cabbage. When I had my apartment, I would make a lot of cabbage stew during the cold seasons. So the name for some cabbage rolls in the Ukrainian language is holubtsi. The many versions of this word appear. Oh, there are many versions of how this word appeared. One of them is that the word holubtsi derived from the influence of the French cuisine that is popular in the second half of the 19th century when fried pigeons, holoby, rolled in cabbage were served. Ukrainians started to stuff cabbage rolls with meat and rice and cook them with tomato juice or paste as a sauce. Today, these are the most widespread ingredients for cabbage rolls. However, there are dozens of other variations for fillings in different regions of Ukraine, including meatless ones as well as different combinations of meat, veggies, and grains. We're gonna cook baked stuffed cabbage rolls. It is fabulous, scrumptious dish. Cabbage leaves are wrapped around a balanced mix of ground pork and rice seasoned with black pepper and garlic. And it says I'll use pork, but you can take whatever ground meat you have: chicken, beef, turkey, or even or beef, turkey, and some the mixture. If you want a lighter version, then it's better to use chicken to get a heartier version. You can add chopped bacon or salt pork to the ground meat. I will use chicken or turkey. I could do a vegetable version too. So I feel like this is a fun pattern, a fun recipe, and I'll definitely make that. So I'll show my. mm, should I show my socks first or show my finished garment? I think I'll show the socks first. And this was last year's holiday cast on. I didn't want to work on it in another at other times of the year. So it sat, and now that it's getting cooler, I finished them, and now I am working on another pair of socks. So these are self-striping, and it's a free pattern from Kay Litton, the crazy sock lady. She has the making these socks using magic glue. So I did the 64 stitches, 20 rounds of the ribbing, 20 rounds of the leg. You could do more. I have a lot of yarn left, so I'm thinking at some point I can get a contrast color for the heel, cup and toe, and then I could use that remaining left. I will say that I feel like I should have caked the yarn first because with I use the Cascade Yarns Heritage Prints, and it was a holiday color from last year. They might bring it back, but it was so loosely caked that I was thinking it just kept going apart. So I'm thinking like maybe I should have caked it, but I didn't want to cut it or undo it, so I just kept it the way that it was. So towards the end, like towards like the toe of the second one, I really was like untangling stuff. And so I'm I'm happy that I I got them finished and it wasn't tangled until the very, very end because it got tangled like right around this area when I was doing my decreases. I really love them. I am picky about sock yarn, and it kind of gives me the motivation get to build up a sock drawer. So I I just like to feel it to make sure that I like the type of sock yarn that it is because I like it to be soft but sturdy. So the ones that I started, I it's gonna blow it out, but I did use my phone to film how it looks. This is the knitted with gem 20 grams in the colorway bubbly. This is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. So I really like this sock yarn. It feels like it has a higher twist than other sock yarns that I have felt before, and the main color I really like too. Am I I do want to get more at some point of the brand of sock yarn that this is. So this is going to be for the contrast color. I'll see how much I need, but I'm almost finished with the cuff. and I'm using the Haya US1 bamboo fixed circulars that I'm really enjoying for the soft yarn. I do also like the yeah, the other one that I like to use. This is the Knitter's Pride ginger needles, and this is in a US1. I do like using this one. Um, this one has a little more of a sharper point. Not too sharp, but it's nice to get into the stitches. This is good too. So I will definitely use these. And I did with start off that project with these needles because the other ones were still house the other socks that I was finishing. I was also thinking that I might use another yarn, but I ended up switching it. So this is the Unicorn Tails 100% superwash merino wool knot in Edison bulb. So this one doesn't have the nylon in it, but I was kind of thinking I would redo the socks anyway at some point because I feel like I'll have extra because I don't do a long leg on them. And this is, uh, you won't be able to see it on this one either, well, on the webcam. Sorry, I'm so sorry. But this is a highlighter color, and I do love highlighter yellow. It's, I think, one of my favorites. And I have worn a lot of highlighter yellow in my life. I remember this one time because in private school we had our uniforms, and there was like one time every month that we would be able to wear whatever we wanted. And that could also be why I don't have like a large wardrobe, because I didn't feel like it was necessary for me to have a large wardrobe, since I mean whatever you wanted to do, it's completely okay. But um, this one outfit was I don't think it was like obnoxious. I liked it. It was a top that was highlighter yellow, and then I had pants that were highlighter yellow too. And I just loved it. I don't know. It was so fun, and I guess I was unapologetic then, and I just really went all in on those types of things, and there wasn't any hesitation with wearing it. I wasn't uh, upset about it when I wore it to school. So the and then I also tried these. Is it Priam? These needles. I would say that it might be a needle to use for other projects that aren't that don't involve doing magic loop on them for socks, because they have this curve here, and it makes it kind of like you definitely feel the join when you're knitting it. So this one is just that straight, and then it has this cord. I love this cord. It's green. It's like my favorite cord. And I ended up switching it out anyway, so I'll see if I have other things that I would want to knit on it. I might want to knit a hat on it. It's a 24 inch, and I do have some sock yarn that I wanted to make into a hat. I don't have it on me, it's in storage. But I thought that it would be really nice as a hat because I wasn't sure if I would like to wear it on my feet. But since I'm talking about soft needles, I guess I'm going back and forth on my show and tell and then my finished objects. I have two finished objects. I showed the socks. I had the first sock finished for a while, and oh, sorry. Now I have the cuff for the second sock. So this is the bubbly colorway. I really love it. It is a soft yellow. And the yarn that I am just loving is the Cape May fiber. And it does have a good twist to the yarn too. This is the sock yarn. And I love that it embodies like the colors of this area, of what this area is known for, um, our shorelines, and it is the Cape May Fiber hand-dyed yarns in the colorway Day at the Beach. So it's 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. So I really love the colorways. I saw a whole rack of the different colorways that was hand dyed, and I have my like eyes set on like getting other ones. I just started this project, so I don't really I don't need to get more yarn, but there was yarn at Wool Bearers. That's where I did my knitting, and yeah, I did see hand-dyed yarn from the shop owner because she does different types of fiber art, and one of them being yarn dyeing or fiber dyeing for other types of, again, fiber art. And there was one that was like a lavender color. I love lavender colors. I love like purple in general and yellows, and I really like the botanical colors for the soft yarns, and I like the ocean colors. I just feel like it just reminds me of this area, and that's why it just stands out to me. Like, I do appreciate other yarn dyers. I know like it is tedious to do, and there is like an art and science to it. This just, it is like almost like a souvenir. Um, and I don't mind getting, well, now I don't really mind getting hand-dyed sock yarn since I don't need like all multiple skeins necessarily. Well, if you want to do like the contrast colors, but in general, I feel like you can get two pairs out of them for what I'm going to do. And I love the colors, and in person, it is a homey type of yarn. Um, I've shown it in maybe other videos, but just in passing, I don't know. Oh no, I showed like the section of the yarn in one of the clips that I filmed, and I'll put it in a video, as well as like the cake that my godmother got for me. And it had fruit on top, and I really like the fruit. So before I show my garment, I wanted to show other supplies that I got. I'm not sure if I'm going to get another case. I'm like on the fence. I'm not sure because it's mainly like I want like just a sliver, like an extra section. Um, because I would like another section for the needles. I have a section for the DPNs, which is nice. I don't use DPNs super often. Well, for sleeves I do. I like to use them there. But other than that, I have another case for it where I have majority of the ones that I would use. Because the Knitter's Pride DPNs, the ginger ones, they have it up to, I believe it's size 9, US 9. And I usually do that. These are the larger ones. They're the US 10s and the US 15s. And those are specific to some of the loopy garments and the bulkier sweaters that I will knit. And I have used them and I like them. So in the Addy case, I added, there's no Addy needles in here, but there is another 4-inch US 3 of the Chow Goose. Because these have the extra Chow Goose in here, and I I try to keep the set intact, like as a full set. So this was the case for the US one for the Priam, Prym, and I didn't get these all at once, but I do have cords that go with the Hayahayas, but I really like the light colors that go with them. So I got different sizes for mainly that would that would be nice for garment knitting. So I got an 18-inch, the 32-inch, 40-inch, and 60-inch. I didn't put the stuff away. Well, I was going to show it, but I was also thinking I might get another case. I don't know. I did see one that I liked. There was one that was a large knitting case. It was expensive. So I'm not sure if I would get that one, but there was one that was less than that that had that extra space that I was looking for. So, I mean, I could fill the older areas of this one too. And with these cords, I got them at a really cheap price because at the yarn store, she doesn't really carry Hayahayas anymore. So she was trying to like get that stock out. And so it was at a really good price. I might get the other ones at some point. I know. They just get like um, all these cords and needles. I do have cords here too, but I really love these light ones. Then for my birthday, I got myself some, let's see, I got different sizes. So the US 3, this is the 4-inch tip, the bamboo interchangeable tips. And I didn't open it, but I really like how theirs are. And let me just make sure. It says 4 inch. So I use the Knitter's Pride Ginger Shorties. They're like my main needles. And they're almost like close. And depending on where you go on the like whatever website you go on, it's hard to say because they say different measurements, and that's why it feels like I have to really look and look and look to make sure that it's the right size that I want because the Wicca ones um, were advertised at 3 inches, I believe. But then at some points, sometimes the ginger shorties were advertised at that length too. So I got them thinking like they're the same, but they are like they're different lengths. And I don't like going lower than a 4 inch. It feels like comfortable. Sorry, I keep saying like it feels comfortable to knit at a 4 inch or 5 inch. I like the Chagu 5 inch ones. They also have the bamboos. That's it is expensive, but I am completely happy with the sets that I have of the stainless steel for the Chagus. Um, so aside from the 3 inch, I got the 4 inch, and I'm just showing you the plastic, but there are a couple. It just has directions of how you can attach it with the cord without damaging it. So this is the US 5. I hope I said US 4, US 5, US 3, and the US 7. I got these off of an Etsy shop. Ooh, I'm so sorry. Off of an Etsy shop that is in the US. So it came really quickly, and I'm gonna write a review because I think it's a new shop and it was prompt and I got exactly what I needed to get. There wasn't a size 6, and US 3 and US 6 are the main needles that I use. I have multiples of the US 6 for the ginger shorties, but at some point, because I like to complete the sets, not the whole set for like the large needles, but for at least the small needles, sizes, I would say maybe I usually get like 3 to 8, but since I've been doing sock knitting, I maybe I could get the size 1 and then 2, but not for socks, not US 2 for socks, but I do use it for other things. And I was like I could get it and build it gradually instead of buying it all at once. And I was told from the one of the yarn shops that I could buy it and then buy it from them, like from the yarn shop, and they could order it for me without the shipping costs. Because to get the Hayas, there's a lot of, most of the time they're not in the US. And I don't mind getting international packages, but like if I'm just gonna get a needle or two, well, I got a group of them. Uh, but if I wanted to get some needles, then I would also have to pay for that shipping cost. And the needles aren't like the cheapest, but they're not the most expensive either. So I was looking at one of the international ones, and then the shipping was like about, it was even more than the needle itself or the tip itself, so I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that. And some of the Ukrainian sellers, they have their warehouses in the US. I'm not sure how that works, but I looked and saw that some were saying that they have a warehouse here or they have a unit where they could get shipped from the US to you, which makes it really convenient. And for that other knitting case, I saw that it was shipping from the US, so I might verify that just to see. But I think there was something else that I was going to say about it. But I'm going to show my garment and then I'm going to show the yarn that I've already shown, but I caked up for my next project. And the finished object is going to be bright for my webcam, but it is finished. It's cropped. And I love it. I really, really, really love it. This is the back where the short rows are. The pattern was super easy to follow. Um, I might write the directions on my Ravelry in case anybody else destroys patterns like I do. Not like, well, I rarely follow patterns exactly how they say to do something, but I know like if you, a lot of knitters do that where you customize it the way that you want it to fit. This is mainly because I was accommodating the yarn that I was using, and this is my cheapest garment. I spent less than $18 on this. I say a little less than it would be $18, but I have some yarn left of the yellow. I just dipped into the yellow. I didn't use a lot of it. As for the blue, I may have been able to get another round of ribbing. I did just the itty bitty ribbing on the sleeves, and I used the Haya Haya bind off, and um, I might be able to see it in other projects, but because this is a specific type of, I mean, is it all specific? But this is 100%, well, it's mainly cotton for the blue, and then the yellow is 100% cotton. And I was also thinking about the other yellows that Hobby Lobby has. I got the blue at Dollar Tree, so it's $1.25 per 50-gram skein. And with like the scraps and everything, I would say I had a little less than half of a skein left. And then I wouldn't have been able to get like a full round for the bottom. It would have been, I would have been finished with the yarn and would be relying on my scraps to finish the project. But this is what I have left of the yellow. I was thinking maybe I could use it for the possum yarn, but I'm thinking about it. I feel like it's slightly a different shade, so I'll see. But this kind of feels like a gift. Well, it is a gift from my godmother since I ended up using some of the gift money, birthday money to get these. I'm thinking I'll probably end up getting the rest of the blues. At least they had yellow, but I feel like I'll find another yellow that I would like with this one. And there were other colors too, but of course it's the yellow. I feel like uh there's a lot of blue and yellow garments and I do love them. I do have a like a short sleeve cardigan, if you will. And I love that one too. And it's the blue and yellow. And it's the skiing of the moose test knit that I did for Jenna Koskett. This one is just a, definitely a favorite. When I was knitting at the yarn store, I was wearing it, and um, I think she had her AC like automatic based off of what the temperature was. Is it on the outside? Oh my God. So it wasn't like kicking in, and I didn't feel warm with this. And it's cotton, so it's cool to the touch. And with depending on the fibers, it will determine how breathable it is. Breathable, breathable it is. So I was cozy with this, and I'm really like happy with the way that it fits. It definitely fits differently because I doubled the needle size, and I know that's a lot, but I wanted the yarn to really kind of speak in the garment. So I'm going to show my yarn that I caked up that I showed in hank form in another video. I might show my new project bag that holds my projects when I'm out, but I did do a video on that too. So the yarn that I'm going to be using is the Cascade 220. Cascade 220 Heathers, and the color number is 9564. I have 3 of these. I might need a 4th, but that would be dipping into it, or I'll see. The project that I chose is the Bruska pullover. So Bruska, that is relating to the yarn that's being used, and I actually have some of the Bruska. I don't have like a main color. I have a contrast color, which is the red one that I got a while back when I ventured off to get the Retrosaria Bruska. And I would have wanted it to be paired with a black. I don't have a black right now, and I think I'm picky with colors. Not that I don't like other colors, but I just want them to be the shade that I'm looking for. And I guess there's the shade of black that I'm looking for. Or like, yeah. I was kind of thinking maybe eventually I could do the main color and contrast color as the Retrosaria Brusca, but they're sold in 50 grams, and the grams are like around $10 or 50 grams are sold like $10 per skein, and I need, for at least a project like this, more than 300 grams. So it would be pricier, but I haven't seen other blacks that I wanted to pair with that red. But I do love this. These, I have 3 of these. They're the non-super wash. I love the heather colors. They're my favorite. And I love the depth to them. Now this is a superwash. I don't mind the contrast color being the superwash. I have mentioned it before because I like the structure to have the characteristics of the non-superwash. I like the way that it holds its shape a lot of the time with the non-superwash. This one, I love them together. Sorry. And I did do other videos on my phone, and I tried to show it on my phone too because it's you'll get to see it closer to what it is. I just don't have a lot of space on my phone to do lengthy videos. So this one is the Plymouth Select Plymouth Yarn Worsted Merino Superwash, 100% Superwash Fine Merino Wool. I will say that I will have to adjust a couple of things because of my yarn choice, but it was closer to what was called for in the project, and even I was surprised too. Well, not that surprised, but the just to get like certain effects of what you're looking for in a garment. So this is the one that I am going to be doing by it's Teti Letsak. Um, and this is the Bruska pullover. So you can see. I love this one. And as I was saying, if you're trying to get different types of characteristics or trait, well, different types of things, like when you're creating your garment, like if you're making a type of sleeve that you want maybe more fitted or gradual, or if you want like a balloon type of sleeve, it you could do different things. And um, for the needles for her projects for this one, it was calling for Retrosaria brusca, which I've seen that I would have to double check this, but I believe it's like a recommended needle size US6, and again, it depends on what you're trying to do with it. But that could be pretty comfortable with that type of yarn. It has been considered worsted in some areas. Some other sources can consider it DK, like it was saying on the project. And the needles that are being used in the project are smaller than that, and some of them considerably smaller than that. So depending if you're doing like the ribbing, like the cuff or the neckline, the body could use a different needle size, um, depending on the effect that you're making, as I keep saying. So it's going to be interesting, and I really have been thinking about it, and in some cases I'm just like, Adrian, just do it, because that's how you do stuff. You just kind of go all in, and if it feels like it's something that you want to do or go for, and how you want to do it, um, that's how I do a lot of my knitted projects with at like I how I knit a lot of my projects, because I know generally I know what I like to wear. Um, and then when I knit a designer's pattern, I like to see how they do certain things and see how it would be for me on how I would like it to fit. So sorry that was so excessive, but I I'm gonna go for it because I was also thinking I wanted to make another Birth of the World cardigan, but I I feel like this is nice. And it looks like a fall bouquet. It is so beautiful. I know that she has another pattern coming out tomorrow. Is it? Yeah. And it's past midnight. And so I was like thinking if I would wait for that pattern, but I saw the finished projects of like the test knitters that um, were testing for the new garment that will be released. And this is not going to be the yarn for that. And I was thinking the Ukrainian yarn will be substantial and it will be nice to use on one of her patterns. So I will be getting started on that. I'll show what the mm, I'll show my project bag. It is larger, so I have stuff in it, so I'm gonna grab it. So this is the bag. Oh my God, sorry. I like how it's structured at the top. I'm trying to lay it on me because it's like a bag that I just kind of set on the ground. So I don't want it on the bed, but I just love the um what is it like the wiring at the top, so it opens up nicely. This I'm gonna put it on the ground now. So I have talked about the bag in the video where I changed my project bags, and I bought it at the flea market. I feel like it was a great investment for me because it's the more that I use it, the more I'm like, oh, I really love this. It goes with my stuff, and um, I just love the vintage. Um, I like the forest varied type of look too. And it's a combination of different things, like dark academia type of wardrobe I love. And I wanted, oh, and another thing I wanted to buy or eventually do, I really want to embroider on garments, specifically like the blouses. One of the Etsy sellers, they sell books and they have like PDFs. I was thinking, well, I would get the PDFs. They're less than $5, and I was kind of thinking maybe I could get it printed and binded, but I would want the charts to be colored, and that's going to be expensive. And I'm not going to do that to my godmother's printer where I print a bunch of colored pages. So it was something to think about, but I wouldn't do it right away. But I wanted to sew more garments or sew garments in general and then embroider. There's different types of charts that they have and embroidery history relating to that type of art. And it goes into like the first half of the book, I've heard from the reviews, like goes into like the history of embroidery in Ukraine. And then it goes into other sections where the charts are. Um, and I would like it to be colored for to see the different ways that they incorporate it into whatever they're putting it on. So there is one specific book. That one was like the Hutzel one, and then there was an extensive one. There's different types of the books, and um, they were having a sale, and they give you sales on Etsy a lot. So I wanted to check that out, and um, I want to put it on bags too. And I do have different. Well, is this? It's different, but I really wanted to embroider on bags. So that was my long video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you, and I'll do other video logs. I'll post that. Bye.